They say he's got boundless energy, that he barely sleeps, that he works harder than anyone else on the planet. If you listen to Donald Trump's inner circle, you'd think the man is some kind of unstoppable machine, someone who only gets 2 hours of sleep and still manages to outpace his younger staffers every single day. His spokespeople don't hold back either. Just last week, one of them claimed that Trump is so tireless, so endlessly active that even people half his age can't keep up with him. They paint a picture of a 78-year-old man who never exercised a day in his life, yet somehow operates like a turbocharged superhuman. But let's be honest, none of this is real. These over-the-top praises sound less like genuine observations and more like something you'd hear from state-controlled media in North Korea. Dear leader is the healthiest man alive. He hit 8,000 holes in one. It's laughable, except they're dead serious. They want us to believe that Trump is the fittest, sharpest, most energetic president in American history. Meanwhile, reality tells a very different story. Trump is, in fact, the oldest man ever sworn in as president. And judging by his recent behavior, it's painfully obvious that his energy levels are not only low, they're practically non-existent. He's the kind of guy who loves to call other people low energy as an insult, but at this point, he might be the slowest one in the room. And the latest proof? He literally fell asleep during a high-stakes meeting with Saudi officials. Yes, during a meeting involving critical agreements with Saudi Arabia, agreements that affect lives across the Middle East, Trump couldn't stay awake. While others around him were talking diplomacy and security, Trump's eyes began to close, his head started to droop, and eventually he slipped into sleep. The cameras caught everything. It wasn't subtle, it wasn't a blink or a slow-motion blink, it was a full-on doze. Fox News, his biggest cheerleader, aired the footage without even acknowledging it. One of their segments zoomed in slowly on Trump as he sat with his eyes closing, nodding off while the anchor talked about Saudi Arabia and the Palestinian state. They just kept talking, ignoring the obvious. It was as if they hoped the audience wouldn't notice that the man they constantly praise as energetic was struggling to stay conscious. And no, you can't excuse it by saying, maybe he was reading a teleprompter. Other footage clearly shows his head dropping forward and then jerking back up, the classic hypnic jerk which anyone who's ever dozed off in a meeting or class knows all too well. He wasn't deep in thought, he wasn't focused, he was just falling asleep, on camera, in front of international officials. This is the same man who often says his critics are dumb, slow, and lazy. He constantly mocks people for not having the stamina to lead. But here he is, nodding off during one of the most important diplomatic meetings of the year. It's embarrassing, and it's exactly the kind of thing Trump supporters would go wild about if it were Biden. Remember when Biden seemed tired or lost in thought for a second? Fox News turned that into a week-long special, segment after segment mocking him, asking if he was fit to lead. But when Trump does it, silence. Total silence. Fox News didn't even mention that he was falling asleep right in front of them. They just kept talking over it like nothing was happening. Just keep going. Don't mention it. Pretend like everything is normal. That's not journalism, that's cover-up. You're watching a man doze off during a crucial meeting and instead of addressing it, you act like it didn't happen. It's not just hypocrisy, it's dangerous. This isn't just about age. Sure, he's 78 and aging comes with its challenges. Everyone gets tired. Everyone wants a nap now and then. But the issue here is the complete disconnect between the image Trump's team is pushing and the reality we're all witnessing. They want you to believe he's invincible, ageless, tireless, but the footage shows a man who can barely stay awake when it matters most. And yes, maybe it's time we stop pretending like this doesn't matter. If a president can't stay awake during a key foreign policy meeting, how can we trust that he's actually leading? How can we believe that he's paying attention, that he's making informed decisions? Falling asleep while foreign leaders are speaking doesn't show strength, it shows decline, it shows fatigue, it shows that maybe, just maybe, this job is too much for him now. And that's okay. Getting older is natural. Slowing down is natural. Wanting a nap in the middle of the day isn't a sign of weakness, it's just life. But pretending that you're some sort of superhuman while clearly struggling to stay awake is not okay. It's dishonest. And more importantly, it's misleading the American people. Trump needs to admit what everyone else can already see. He's tired, he's aging, and no matter how many times his staff tries to sell the fantasy of him being this endless ball of energy, the cameras don't lie. The footage tells the truth, and the truth is, he's not the man they say he is. So the next time someone says Trump only sleeps 2 hours a night and is always go go go, remember this moment, remember the footage, remember the slow zoom into his nodding head, the barely conscious look on his face, and the media pretending like it's not happening. That's not the look of a man running a country with energy and focus. That's the look of someone who desperately needs to lie down. At some point we all have to ask the hard question, is this really the person we want in charge? A man who can't stay awake, who dozes through foreign policy meetings, and who relies on loyalists to rewrite reality on his behalf? Because if that's leadership, then we're all in trouble.